Finally, a return to Terraria. The game I have spent probably way too long playing in such a short amount of time. This was during a period of me being sick, which explains why nothing was uploaded or released on the channel for a little while. However, I did manage to play a ton of Terraria to gather 23 hours of footage. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. Anyway, here's a video. Almost immediately, I grab onto my mechanical skull, shove spaghetti down my throat, and begin my fight with Skeletron Prime. Definitely unsurprising, I defeated him and then moved on to finding Plantera's bulb for the next boss fight. I scour the jungle for chlorophyte, the ore to get better armor, and life fruits, which increase my health by 5 for each one I use. I start to build a very small arena so the Plantera fight would actually work in the jungle. For some reason, I built the tunnel straight to the underworld from the ocean biome. I honestly can't even remember why I did that, but I guess it was important if I did it. I think all it was to finish exploring because there was a big chunk of the underworld I didn't explore. Whatever, not important. I found a beehive, completely decimated queen bee, and made the next best armor I could get for a full set, and realized I got an adorable mount that I basically don't ever use. I finally summoned up Plantera and very shockingly won, which absolutely stunned and amazed me because I always struggled with bosses, and this was without any buffs whatsoever. I take the temple key I got from Plantera and enter the temple itself, which is full of dangerous creatures, including the next boss, Golem. But I actually died to traps before I could summon him. I place a heart lantern in the room for increased regeneration, summon him, and then promptly die at the last phase. Typical. I race back, summon him again, and win this time, because I need a few of those in the endgame. A solar eclipse begins and I immediately run to my hidey hole to wait for a Mothron to spawn, since they can drop the one thing I need to finally craft the Terra. One spawns almost immediately, and I kill it and it drops an Eye of Cthulhu yo-yo. 3 more spawned and they didn't drop a broken hero sword at all, which sucks. I started another solar eclipse and got 3 of them. I don't know how, but I did. I finally crafted the Terra Blade and immediately ran to the dungeon to open a chest that had really generic loot in it. Wonderful. With nothing better to do, I decide I'm really strong and take on the Lunatic Cultist, in which I was not strong enough for and just get worked by the amount of projectiles this guy throws. Like, it's just ridiculous. I then challenge the Old One's army with my Sword of Heroes and also get ruined. This is why I said I needed all those wins I can get in the endgame. I try again and get to the final wave, and I'm dying to a freaking dragon. Why? Ignoring the insanity that was, I start a solar eclipse, end the solar eclipse, fight and kill Golem again. After a ton of losses and 1 win, I deem myself worthy of fighting the Lunatic Cultist again. So I gear up and begin the fight. Okay, I died, yeah, but look at that health. That's a huge improvement. I begin my search for truffle worms to summon a later boss, and found one a lot quicker than I expected since they are kinda rare. I create a tiny arena for the boss and make the attempt to beat Duke Fishron. Keyword there being attempt. Giving up on that goal for now, I switch right back to the Lunatic Cultist and actually won, which caused the moon pillars to spawn and I panic returned home so I didn't die. Now this is the actual endgame. Like, there are the pillars and the Moon Lord, the final boss of the game. The pillars are mini boss fights of their own. In order to even attack the pillar itself, you need to kill 100 of the specific enemies it summons. And then once you get the 100 kills, you have to defeat the pillar while dealing with the enemies. I got solar fragments which help to create overpowered endgame weapons. I go after the Stardust pillar, die again, die a 3rd time, and then defeat the pillar as I die 1 final time. The Nebula pillar is just pure death for everyone, but eventually it is defeated and I move on to the Vortex pillar, destroy it, and wait for impending doom. The Moon Lord is a definite challenge, however he doesn't have the most attacks, and he can be easy to dodge if you have the right equipment. This attempt I don't succeed, but I gain a ton of knowledge about the fight and the attack patterns. To summon the Moon Lord, I have to refight the pillars. To refight the pillars, I have to re-beat Lunatic Cultist, but I lost. I also built 2 houses in the Arctic biome for easy travel to the dungeon. After an hour or so, I finally find enough light fruit to fully max out my health, and then a stupid goblin army comes in and wastes my time. For the first time, I actually try and find the shimmer, which is a really cool looking liquid that can transform some items into much cooler items. That's the basics, but I'll explain what I use it for in a little bit. The next thing I do that takes way too long is come up with the brilliant idea of the Terra Spark boots, which give an insane amount of speed across all terrains after exploring and finding ice skates. This is what the crafting recipe is for them. Yep, it's gonna be so much fun. I built housing in a much better spot in the jungle, so it's closer to the beach and the middle, so that was also fun. Finally, I actually did manage to find the shimmer under the ocean, and with the shimmer, I actually was able to throw a life crystal to turn it into a heart crystal that permanently increases my life regeneration. And then I fished for a ridiculously long time. Like I said, I tried to go for the Terra Spark boots by fishing for stuff, but after like 6 or so total hours of fishing, I never actually did. I finally got something new in a Martian invasion, which actually was pretty easy, and I was able to get a brand new and the most important mount I have being the UFO, which is pure flight and can go anywhere I need it to, and it is actually the most important thing for the final few bosses I fight. One by one, the pillars fall. And then, before the last one goes, I prepare myself by defeating Duke Fishron, and then preparing my arena for the Moonlord. The Moonlord's strategy is surprisingly simple. To start, you create a little home for your nurse to move in under or near your arena, and set a bed for your spawn in there. Then, you fight for as long as possible, dealing as much damage as possible, and using potions when you can. Whenever you can't heal with your potions, you teleport to the nurse, heal, and repeat that process for as long as necessary. This strategy is actually the key to beating this game, and it is exactly how I did in my world. The credits roll, and the end is finally here. Except now, it's time to train for Master Mode!